All right, welcome back, Free Radicals. I am Dave. This is the Radical Independent. That's me. I am the Radical Independent. And you are too if you're here. You might be a Radical Independent. I could have a t-shirt that says, you might be a Radical Independent if. You could piggyback off the old Jeff Foxworthy routine about the rednecks and so forth. Anyway, tangent alert. I want to talk about how Tulsi Gabbard could still win the Democratic nomination. By the way, good news for Tulsi in her home state of Hawaii. She is at 13% support over there, placing her in third place. And people are saying, well, she should be in first place in Hawaii. Unfortunately, E. Warren, I'm going to start calling her E. Warren from now on because that's what she is on Twitter. She's E. Warren. And the first three letters are W-A-R after the E, so it's Warren. You know what I'm saying, people? So before I launch into the scenario that allows, well, here's my theory, okay? This is a theory. So again, I'm not reporting on an article that I'm reading on how Tulsi could get there. This is just me. I'm looking at poll numbers. I'm looking at the cannibals. There are many cannibals out there, cannibals in progressive media. And these people who call themselves like the secular humanists, they're all trying to eschew religion. Oh, please, no. They do videos where they have some weird Christian guy yammering on, like doing some weird speaking in tongues prayer thing, just to show how ridiculous it looks. And it is. It's really ridiculous. I'm a Christian. I purport to be a Christian. I look at it and I go, that guy screwed up. And hence, yeah, I have issues with the people that run my faith, Well, Jesus is the guy who's really running my faith. So, and all these people, they're all, oh, religion is just hocus pocus. This is the guy with the soapbox. He does the same thing. It's madness that these people would think that there's a God. And yet, all the people, including Tulsi Gabbard, by the way, is she crazy because she believes in God? Might not be the same God that I believe in, although she was raised kind of like hybrid, so she respects faith. She respects religious liberty. Ooh, that's an evil word, religious liberty. That means you're coming to tell me what to do. You're coming to tell me who I should believe in, that I have to believe in God. No, nobody's telling you that. Stop it. So the cannibals are out. They're out on progressive media. And look, I don't name names. You go look. You go watch the shows. I get these tweets back and they say, did you see this guy? And I go, yeah, the show's completely unwatchable. It's just completely unwatchable. Between the guy, the way his speaking style, it's completely unwatchable. The subject matter is like all tribal. It's all identity politics focused. You're not doing enough for this particular group of people. You know what's going to happen if people keep going down this road? Again, all the other, you wonder why there's this movement in America to kind of take back our heritage and those people who are feeling left out. It's because they're slammed every day. And most of them weren't paying attention. Most of them were, drinking beer and watching football games. And all of a sudden now they're woke. It's like, they're woke on the alt-right or wherever they've decided to go because they feel their worldview is under attack because guess what? You keep attacking it every day. Rather than saying, you know what? My lifestyle's different than this guy's. But I'm not going to talk about that. Instead, I'm going to talk about, forgiving student loan debt. Or I'm going to talk about the corruption in our government. The fact that there are a group of unaccountable people who get appointed to positions in our government who tell the President of the United States what he can and cannot do. Some people have called this the deep state. I don't know. You can have whatever name you want. The shadow presidency. You can blame Trump all you want for the stuff that's happening. If you're a Trump supporter like I used to be, you know that, whoa, this guy had said all this stuff on the campaign trail. and, you hire John Bolton. Yeah, you fire him, but they're probably like, okay, you can fire Bolton, but you got to hire another one. You got to hire another neocon. And then you got to go and do this thing in Iran. And then we're still staging the coup in Venezuela. So a lot of this stuff is like, it seems like it's not in control. Like nobody, you become the president and you don't have any real say. You have a little say. And it's all kind of PR. It's all on the surface. So why do I think Tulsi Gabbard is better? And why do I think she still has a path to the nomination? Well, I think Tulsi's whole existence is she doesn't take any crap. That's her whole existence. If you think you've got a plan, I think Tulsi has a plan that might be better or more nuanced than yours. Even though, again, the cannibals come out, and this is my theory. Oh no, the word choice is bad. So they're all looking for an exit ramp to get off the Tulsi Express. And they found one. They're all looking, and don't tell me they're not looking, because they want to go full Bernie. And that's fine. Go full Bernie, but don't impugn Tulsi. Because guess what? Bernie isn't as good on foreign policy as Tulsi Gabbard is. He's not. And to me, that's a bigger issue. Believe it or not, oh no, it's a bigger issue than Medicare for all. It is. It is. Well, people die. Well, people die in war, okay? People die in both countries because of war. And by the way, if you tell me, well, if they had health care, it's completely preventable. Well, there are a number of things, that you can try to do as a sick person who can't get health care. There's nothing you can do if a bullet is heading at your head and you're about to get hit by it. Okay, there's nothing you can do about that at all. Well, you could wear a bulletproof vest. Well, guess what? To me, the two aren't really comparable. We are sending people into foreign conflicts so they can go ahead and die over there. That's the mission. They can die. Hopefully they don't die and they come back. And then they go again, and then they come back. And guess what? By the time they've come back the third or fourth time, a lot of times they don't function too well in society. And guess what? What are they a burden to at that point? The healthcare system. All right? So if we eliminate this, you got opioid addiction, PTSD, follow the logic trail. There is one. Do I think Medicare for all is extremely important? Yes. Here's why I like it. As a former conservative, it would save me money. It would save our family money. A family plan, even one provided by your company, your employer, guess what? It's more expensive than doing Medicare for all. And if you explain it where the taxes go up on the wealthier people who, again, I hate to use this phrase because conservatives hate when people say this, they won't miss the money. They won't miss it. Look at it as a nice donation to the little people, And maybe if it's explained that way, people might actually start to gravitate toward it. So let me get to what I wanted to really talk about here. The cannibals are out. So the cannibals are eating their own. So the Bernie people are eating the Tulsi people. The Tulsi people really aren't eating back. What they're doing is saying, wait a minute, why are you guys doing this? We love your candidate. We love Bernie Sanders. But you guys are now going after, because again, they're all these guys, all these progressive commentators, other than Jimmy Dore, they're all looking for an exit ramp. They're all looking to get off the Tulsi highway so they can either devote their time to Bernie Sanders, or in some cases, even worse, Elizabeth Warren. You're starting to see some of these people, these soapboxy, humanist, secular type people who are jumping and running and looking, oh, Warren's in the lead now, and she is kind of progressive. She's co-opting some Bernie stuff. Well, what difference does it make? Bernie's the cranky old guy, and at this point, you're basically a sexist if you don't support Elizabeth Warren. Really? Okay. See, and this is the epic fail of identity politics. It's just watching this stuff. This is why conservatives, they laugh at this stuff. Because it is funny at times. It's It's funny because if you're not in the right group, and if you don't say the right thing, and if you're not woke in a certain way, then you're just a mess. You're a hot mess. And, let's find the exit ramp. So Tulsi Gabbard, she's been accused of being a centrist for this recently. She's too militaristic. She wants to apparently go after terrorists, and that bothers some people. Doesn't bother me. She's looking for the most legitimate way to do that, though, and not, let's send everybody, and even when, we have no basis for doing it. She's the one pulling back. She's saying, we don't need to do this because I was over there and I have experience. She's still, of course, getting impugned on her foreign policy. You can reference an NPR interview, which, by the way, there's a lot of people on the so-called progressive left who still love NPR, even though it's sold its soul to big corporations and did it years ago. And those big corporations, by the way, are all in bed with the military-industrial complex, people. I know that's kind of a tough one for some of you to figure out, but it's true. So there are more cannibals. So here's my theory in a nutshell. Let me get to the theory. So the cannibals keep eating each other. Okay, the bigger candidates, top-tier candidates, as Kamala Harris said. Well, I'm a top-tier candidate. Well, Tulsi just took a bite out of your candidacy, and it didn't even need to be a cannibal. I mean, really, all of the people who used to support Kamala Harris have probably jumped over to Warren. Okay, which I think isn't that racist to do that? It's racist. It's not sexist, but it is racist. And I'm trying to think what else ist it could be. There's got to be another ist that I'm missing. People who are told now that supporting Bernie Sanders is sexist because Elizabeth Warren she's much more nuanced. And she's younger. Yeah, she's 70. Ooh, that's so young, right? Is she 69? I don't know. She'll be over 70 if she wins the White House, so she's not young. Compared to Bernie, yeah, there's, 7 years or something. Bernie, for the guy he is at his age, he shows no signs of slowing down. He's a rock star when it comes to energy. But then you got Tulsi Gabbard, who's, 38 years old. She, again, logic people. Beautiful, talented, articulate. Wise beyond her years, knowledgeable on every issue, not an embarrassment, doesn't have crazy hair. For those of you who don't like the crazy hair of Trump or Bernie, Tulsi's got great hair, okay? And if I'm being a little goofy in this video, there's a lot of pent-up sort of frustration that it's beginning to manifest itself in some weirdness by me. So you look at the candidates who are out there still. Mayor Pete, who apparently the corporations are starting to not give money to Mayor Pete, so I think his candidacy is eventually going to go away. I mean, he may launch a Senate campaign and use all the money he's got, stored away. That's my theory on Mayor Pete. Cory Booker is going to drop out. He's going to drop out soon. He just didn't go anywhere. Same thing with Beto O'Rourke. Although I know he got a lot of funding at the beginning, he may stick around for a while. So you're going to be left with a bunch of candidates who are the serious ones, and Tulsi stays in. And Tulsi's message continues to resonate. And by the way, Tulsi is not going to go up on the debate stage to be, a wallflower. She's not going to do this. I mean, Crystal Ball the other day asked her, who are you going to kneecap next? Great question, by the way, and I love that show. Rising, it's called. You got to watch that because Crystal Ball does these monologues that are just, it's like crack. It's good stuff. Very Jimmy Dore-like, except without all the F-bombs. And, and Crystal is slightly more, easy on the eyes than Jimmy Dore. And, of course, I should talk, right? So, in any event, I'm watching all of this, and I'm thinking her path to the nomination still exists. Because all of these people will start eroding support on these candidates because one candidate will focus on the one that's taking their support away, and eventually those numbers will start to come down. Where Joe Biden is in all of this is an interesting question, though, because Biden has this built-in support, which, again, if these guys cannibalize each other enough, Biden could slip through. And with superdelegates, he could still slip through. So people have to be, you're not going to get anything remotely progressive. People will be begging for Elizabeth Warren, but here's the thing. Elizabeth Warren is Joe Biden. Okay? She's Joe Biden with some window dressing, and she's doing the primary dance. This is what people do in the primary. They appeal to primary voters. Do you think Elizabeth Warren to take on Donald Trump, she's going to have to do the greatest makeover in the history of makeovers, both politically speaking, her language, her cadence. She's going to need a new hairstyle. I mean, you're going to have to go down the list. Okay, ooh, that's sexist, Dave. No, it's a reality check. Okay? Tulsi Gabbard would have to do nothing differently. She can continue to be herself. The way she was in the primary, she could be in the general election, and that's why she is such an amazing candidate. And I think she's staying in this for a couple of reasons, because she knows there's still a path. Now, she doesn't have the organization, she doesn't have the money, but she's got the message. And that money could start flowing in, and it's going to flow in from people that the progressive people don't like. Independents, libertarians, Green Party people who do see the cost of war as the biggest issue our country faces. And if you're, again, advocating for a perfect Medicare for all system, guess what you need to do? You need to turn off the military-industrial complex, because all of those returning military people are putting a huge burden on the healthcare system. That's why you've got all of the controversy over at the VA constantly. And these people are bribed into service, and then the rest of their lives are spent in some form of rehab. And if they're not in rehab and they've adjusted and they're still doing okay in society, then a lot of them can't earn a decent living. You've got, 22 former veterans committing suicide a day. All right, and you've got the opioid crisis, which is related to some of that as well. So, again, this is why everything flows down from this one issue. And the progressives who are parsing, oh, well, she said choice. We don't like choice. Really? You don't like choice, huh? Okay. Well, don't go to Starbucks then. Don't go to any restaurant that offers you choice. Just say, you know what? Can you just put on the menu board, can you just put the word food? Just put food, because if you put fancy stuff and different words on there, you know what's going to happen. People are going to think that they can just not order here, because you want to just put food up there, because that'll get people in the door. And people will go, well, don't you guys have choices here? No, we just offer food. We're not going to tell you what's in it. And it's, one food fits all. I know, crappy analogy, right? But it's close, people. It's close. It's close. So again, yeah, I know a lot of people would be disappointed to find out that believing in God might be okay for some people. It's okay for Tulsi Gabbard. And by the way, all of those secular, humanisty, soapboxy people who think religion is just a joke, they're basically, it's kind of like a backhanded criticism of Tulsi Gabbard. Because Bernie is kind of secular. Yes, he's Jewish, but he's kind of secular. He's kind of a secular Jew. All right? Tulsi Gabbard talks about God. And it may not be the same God that you're talking about. And that person, by the way, in one of those videos was trying to defend Tulsi a little bit because she was getting angry at the NPR interview. But in a way, they still went out on a limb and they're like, yeah, see, and if you just got rid of all this religious garbage, then you wouldn't have these problems, because then people couldn't ask you about it. Okay, sure. That's just great. A great society we'll all live in when many in the religious community do a lot of things that other people don't want to do. for whatever, even if you don't like their motivation. All I know is that, and I'm not a huge fan, but I know that after the Bahamas thing, which was a devastating tragedy, mostly religious organizations were on the ground there. And they were setting up medical, they were doing real, what you would call missionary work. So if you decide you want to throw the baby out with the bathwater because you don't like rhetoric, and you're going to highlight the craziest guy in the room to show that it's all bunk and it's all stupid and these people are mindless and they should just become atheists so they have no hope at the end of their life, that's fine. If you want to live your life that way, drink up, be merry, and just wait for the end, that's okay. I'm with Tulsi Gabbard, though. I'm with Tulsi Gabbard in more ways than one. And I'll continue on this, but here's the thing at the very end of this video, just to reiterate, okay? Tulsi has a chance to win the nomination. She really does. A lot of things have to move out of her way, but those things are starting to move in those directions. And it's going to take some hopscotch, finding the right stone to leap one to another. One thing that's really working in her favor right now is the next Democratic debate, which I guarantee you she's not going to be a wallflower. So, long video and a lot of tangents. I will talk to you very soon.